Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, most of you guys have actually asked me about the situation in Nyalenda right now. I am actually happy to report that right now, everything is calm. People are going about their businesses as usual. I know most people were really hurt yesterday. Hopefully they'll recover fast. And those who lost their life, I think according to the information I have, maybe there are 7. Hopefully the families will have comfort in the blood of Jesus. And right now, I want us to talk about the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's home yesterday. As you are aware, Pauline Njoroge was also arrested today in Watamu. And the charges are interesting, and we are living in a world where you don't know who will be next. So that's it. But I want us to talk about that raid yesterday, because I think strongly that the attack on Uhuru Kenyatta's son, the raid at the home, is definitely going to change the politics of the mountain. Either the mountain are going to side with Uhuru Kenyatta as one of their sons, or the mountain are going to stick with William Ruto and watch as Uhuru Kenyatta is being targeted. I'm saying this because earlier today, I watched some 2 depressing videos and a tweet which shocked me. Let me begin by playing for you the first video, which I think was by Silvanus Osoro somewhere in Kisii.
Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Ai! Wale ambao walikutesa wamenunulia watoto wao bunduki. Na unajua nyinyi wananchi hamjui. Yule kijana wa Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta, kwa sababu wao wako entitled to security, kwa boma yake kuna 100 guns zimewekwa kwa nyumba, na zote anasema hako na licenses. 100 of them ziko ndani ya nyumba. Askari hawajamuuliza kitu, wameenda kule, wamefika huko, hata wakaambiwa wasifunguliwe kuingia, bunduki ziko ndani, wakatoka. Wakasema sawa, kwa sababu tuko na heshima na hii familia, wacha tuende. Wamesummon kijana, hataki kuenda. Badala ya kuenda ndiye ajibu, ulipata wapi licenses hizi zote? Ameita baba yake. Baba yake amefika kwa TV, alikuwa rais tunamheshimu, lakini amekuja kidogo, akiwa hapo amechapa ile yake, amekuja macho ni red, alafu ameanza kukuja hapo, anaanza kusomea rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, anasahau huyu sasa sio naibu wake.
Then the second video, which really depressed me the most, was this video clip of the member of parliament for Gatundu South, a youthful man, I think he's called Kagombe. Yesterday evening, when the news about the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's residence emerged. Now, this gentleman here is actually the member of parliament representing Gatundu South. Uhuru Kenyatta was a member of parliament for Gatundu South.
Thank you very much, members of the fourth estate. I was just getting into Acacia because today is Friday and we normally get into Acacia tonight. And I've just caught the news that the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, is all over social media and all over news saying that he's being harassed. I want to say this. First of all, it is so wrong. This government has been trying very hard to fight against alcoholism. The president or the former president cannot come and address the nation while in such drunken stupor. It is such a bad show to the young people, to the country, that we're trying to fight alcoholism, and such a person of high stature, an ex-president, can come and address the nation in such drunkenness. You know, drugs are known to give people hallucinations. And I am sure what I have heard the former president saying are hallucinations that he got in what he was doing. So I want to say this. The president has over 100 police officers. The entire Gatundu South has only 70. So this president is well guarded. He is talking of people that he saw, he did not see them, he did not hear them. He's just saying that there were people, and he calling them the police. They are not that was not the police, and the government cannot be blamed for things that you have imbibed, for things that you've consumed, and they're giving you hallucinations. I want to say this to former president. We have known all this time that you have been harassing people. You have been financing maandamano. You have been financing destruction of property in this country. Now, just an imagination that people could come to your place is making you go all over and be a crybaby. I want to tell you this. We have just had that right now, and that's why we said we are going to respond immediately in this darkness. We have suspended our kesha to come and address drunkenness.
Interesting clip there. And then I came across this tweet by Irungu Nyakera. Irungu Nyakera was a permanent secretary during Uhuru Kenyatta's era. And this is why I always tell you guys here that in politics, there are only two constants. The first constant in politics is interest. The other constant is betrayal. Now, let me read for you the tweet by this gentleman called Irungu Nyakera. He's saying, President Uhuru Kenyatta created me politically upon appointing me as the youngest post-independence CS. For that, I'm truly grateful to him. That said, the Presidential Retirement Benefits Act limits his participation in active politics and expects him to play a statesman role advising government of the day. On this, he has failed and should be called out. Let Ruto be president, Raila play opposition, and Ruto become a mediator. So basically, even this gentleman is linking Uhuru Kenyatta to politics. I don't know because, government, you can't really tell. Government has a bit of more information. They have intelligence than we do. So sometimes you might assume that Uhuru is not participating in politics, yet is participating. We don't know. But I would have expected this gentleman, as a beneficiary of Uhuru Kenyatta, to either just remain silent, because silence is also golden, or he should not have dragged Uhuru Kenyatta into this tweet. And if you read the comments on this tweet, most of them are actually wondering why he's doing this. But why do you think that raid happened in the first place? Because I've always told you that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing in politics just happens for the sake of it. For me, that raid, if you ask me, was intended to achieve some three objectives. The first objective was to divert the attention of the country from what was happening in Kisumu, Siaya, and Homa Bay. What most people actually, and Migori, what most people were referring to as Luo massacre. And by reading that home, the focus of the country actually moved away from that discussion to the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's son. So for me, that was the first objective. Although later on, Kenyans came back to this main issue of police brutality, but that was the main objective. Number two, I also tend to think that the raid was also intended to try and create this coup narrative, the politics of the coup. Kenya Kwanza are very clear that Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are planning to overthrow the government. None other than William Ruto has stated that severally. His allies are saying it almost on a daily basis. So how do you create that narrative? First of all, you go for who? Maina Njenga. Up to now, nobody knows where he is. Next, you go for Uhuru Kenyatta's son. Then you can link. There's a 40 million. Then you go for Pauline Njoroge. If you read the Star newspaper sometimes back, the Star ran a story, and in that story, they alleged that Uhuru Kenyatta had actually funded Azimio with 40 million for the demos. And Kenyans were like, 40 million is a small amount of money. In yesterday's press statement by the Minister for Interior, they alleged that there's a trail, there's something they're trying to trail, 42 million, something like that. 42 million from, I think they got from one of the places they visited, and how it was supposed to be distributed in various constituencies, I mean in various counties within Rift Valley and Mount Kenya. And the other thing I think is that this idea of raiding was actually intended just to drag Uhuru Kenyatta into politics. I don't know what you think up to that point. For me, that's what I tend to think. But again, if you look at politics per se, now when we talk of real politics, there's a way certain things normally change from better to worse. And in most cases, if you look at most dictators, those who have clung onto power, they've always created situations which mirrors what you're witnessing in the Republic of Kenya. The first thing is normally the intolerance. Then the next one is normally the detention without trial. People are normally just detained. You know, you are got here, detained without any trial. Someone somewhere there, you know, you think you are. Sometimes you might even not be surprised. And I don't want to get surprised that one day you will just hear, oh, Lee ameshikwa. Despite the fact that Lee is just a simple man doing a small thing here with the support from you guys. Yeah. So there's normally that detention without trial. Then from there it escalates to elimination. So a few guys will be eliminated, you know, like you see, remember the Yala River. But now we are talking of politically instigated. Then from there, you go to the last phase, which is normally to declare what Cherargei was suggesting, state of emergency. If not, you engineer change of the constitution, but not through referendum, through parliament. And for me, the current parliament is actually controlled by William Ruto. And that's why I played that clip by Wagombe, the member of parliament for Gatundu South. So those are those are some of the things which normally happens. But why do I strongly think that it was a big mistake for whoever planned that? In my view, not any other person's view. In my view, number one, by raiding Uhuru Kenyatta's home, what is going to happen is that he's likely to gain sympathy. Uhuru Kenyatta and the family are likely to gain sympathy. And if you listen to Uhuru Kenyatta's speech yesterday, he kind of appealed to the emotions of those people. If you ask me, he kind of appealed to the emotions of the Kikuyu nation and of Kenyans. That why should you go for a 70-year-old woman? Why should you go for a boy? Just come for me, you know? So by appearing to target Uhuru Kenyatta, they'll win sympathy because human nature normally tends to prefer those who are appearing to be weak. You see, like for example, William Ruto managed to win the support of most Kenyans because he appeared weak. He appeared as someone who was being frustrated. So he was able to sell his hustler narrative. He was able to do whatever he was doing. Right now, Uhuru Kenyatta will appear as if he's weak because the government is using excess power. Then from there, we go to the second reason why I think they're making a mistake, and that is the Mount Kenya tycoons. The truth of the matter is that Mount Kenya tycoons were really supported by Kibaki and by Uhuru Kenyatta. Most of them supported Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, and they lost. Which means these guys might relax. Then when the right time comes, they might say, we are not going to allow this to continue. So they'll pump money. They can actually pump real money, real resources in any initiative. Like if it's this mandamano, they can pump money. If it's a referendum, they can pump money because they want to have kind of change. Number three, this raid, in my view, is also strengthening this narrative that William Ruto is a vengeful man. It will reinforce it. So those who voted for Ruto, that Ruto is a good man, they'll think twice, okay, could be this guy is vengeful. And lastly, the international community. You know, I was reading international newspapers, Al Jazeera, BBC, all those media, major. The story was about Uhuru Kenyatta. What if Uhuru Kenyatta will tomorrow go to Goma to lead that peace talk? And then is there, Uhuru Kenyatta is there, other heads of state. What kind of image do you think will come out that this is a former president, he's talking about peace, his president is fighting him because they can't agree. You know, if, for example, you are an opposition leader in DRC and Uhuru is initiating that peace, you'll simply tell him, no, you can't. You go, first of all, deal with your issues there. I don't know what to think. That's my take. May you have a good day. Bye-bye.